Budgeting isn't rocket science. With the right approach, you could save $12,000 a year. Skeptical? Bear with me, and I'll show you how. You've tried budgeting before. Maybe you downloaded an app, tracked every dollar for 3 weeks, and then life happened. An unexpected bill, a rough month. Suddenly, that seemingly perfect system fell apart, and you felt stuck right back where you started. Here's the thing that no one tells you. It wasn't your fault. The budgeting framework you used was just ill-suited for your life. Think of budgeting methods like shoes. You don't blame your feet when the size doesn't fit. You try a different pair. Today, we're going to fix that. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore 7 proven budgeting techniques. Discover the one that fits your lifestyle, and you'll walk away ready to take control of your money today. Whether you're new to personal finance, learning how to budget, handling a freelance income, or looking to refine your strategy, one of these methods will resonate with you. But before we dive in, why should you bother creating a budget at all? Be honest, how much did you spend last month? Can you recall the exact amount? If you hesitated, you're in good company. Most of us experience what I call spending blindness, where small, seemingly trivial expenses accumulate without them noticing. Yes, there are a lot of ways to save money, cut fixed costs, optimize spending, live more effectively, practice mindful spending, etc., etc. But budgeting is the structural fix. Research from the University of St. Andrews reveals that without a clear budget, people are prone to impulse buys and overlook small, frequent costs, leading to substantial financial leaks. Consider this. Households with a structured budgeting system save about 15 to 20% of their income, compared to less than 5% for those without. Given an average household income of $84,000, that's potentially over $12,000 a year left on the table. So, what is a budget really? It's just a plan for your money, income in, expenses out, where every dollar is assigned to your priorities. When done right, it's ensuring you have control over your financial future rather than wondering where your money went. In brief, a budget is absolutely essential to reach financial freedom. But to make this work, you need the right method, one that works for your money, your life, and your brain. Let's explore next what strategies and types of budgeting methods exist. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a simple framework to decide which one fits your lifestyle. Stay tuned. Let's start with the most popular budgeting method out there, the 50-30-20 rule. Picture your paycheck as a pizza. You slice it like this: 50% for needs, rent, groceries, utilities, insurance. 30% goes to wants, just like dining out, entertainment, hobbies, subscriptions. The remaining 20% goes to savings and debt reduction. Here's what that looks like in real life. According to the 2024 BLS Consumer Expenditure Survey, the median U.S. household earns about $7,000 every month. Housing eats up roughly 33%, transportation 17%, food 15%, healthcare 8%, and everything else fills the gaps. Applying the 50-30-20 framework, we clearly see that needs alone exceed 50% of the average U.S. income in certain areas. This lack of budget for essentials is then overcompensated in the wants and save categories respectively, meaning both life quality and prospects suffer. The 50-30-20 rule provides a simple guide to put cost and income into perspective. This method is ideal if you're looking for a straightforward start in budgeting with monthly incomes that are stable and predictable. The biggest downside is it might not work if you live somewhere expensive with living costs alone exceed 50% of your income. Imagine giving every dollar of your income a job until your budget hits zero. That's zero-based budgeting. With this method, each expense, saving, and debt repayment is planned, and every dollar is accounted for. Every dollar has a purpose before you even spend it. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Remember, the median US household earns about $7,000 monthly. After deducting all essential and lifestyle expenses, you will still have $536 left. With zero-based budgeting, you'd give that leftover jobs to, say, $200 to your emergency fund, $300 to debt, and $38 to fund money. But who is this best for? If you're a detail-oriented planner and have a hands-on approach to your finances, zero-based budgeting gives you the control and visibility you've been craving. But beware, zero budgeting also requires consistent tracking and discipline. You can't set it and forget it. You're logging expenses throughout the month, every single week. It demands attention. For those feeling overwhelmed by meticulous budget tracking, the 60% solution offers a reprieve. Here, 60% of your income is allocated to your committed expenses, both non-negotiable essentials and personal priorities, while the remaining 40% is yours to divide among savings, debts, and fund money. Analyzing typical spending patterns, you might find 60% of your budget is naturally consumed by essentials. If this statistics reflects your financials as well, you have little room to decide what goes into your 60% bucket, leaving you with the task of carefully considering how best to utilize the remaining 40% fraction. Who is this for? People with stable income but who despise the nitty-gritty of budgeting, and those with specific non-negotiable priorities, looking for a structured system. The drawback is that it's easy to cheat. You have to be honest about what's truly committed versus what you're just moving into the 60% bucket to have an excuse for recurring fund-related cost. The envelope system takes budgeting back to basics. You divide your expenses into categories: groceries, entertainment, transportation, rent, and create a physical envelope for each one. Then you stuff each envelope with cash equal to the amount you plan to spend. You only spend from that envelope. When it's empty, the ride for that category is over until next month. This method physically curtails overspending and makes you acutely aware of your financial boundaries. Here's a real-world example. If your spending is aligned with average US household spending, your envelope might look like this: $2,120 for housing, $1,098 for transportation, $943 for food, $288 for entertainment, and so on. You literally stuff cash into these envelopes based on how much you've allocated for that category each month. Once your entertainment envelope is empty, that's it. No more cinema, no more drinks, no dinner splurges until next month. Now, if carrying envelopes sounds outdated, there's a modern twist. Budgeting apps like YNAB or digital envelope systems let you replicate this method without the cash. This method works beautifully if you're a visual learner or someone prone to impulse spending. It creates instant awareness. You can't overspend when the cash is gone. Spending becomes tangible in a way credit never does. The downside is that you'll be required carrying cash or committed to strict digital app discipline. If your income is as unpredictable as a weather forecast, the paycheck budgeting method might be your ally. Instead of budgeting by the month, you budget by the paycheck. Each time money lands, you plan exactly how to spend it until the next check arrives. Say you get a $4,000 check. You'd set aside half of monthly essentials for the next 2 weeks. Rent $1,060. Transportation $549, food $472, and so on. That's about $3,221 allocated, leaving around $779 for taxes if you freelance, savings, debt, or a buffer. This method is perfect for anyone with irregular income, and for how to budget on a low income because you only plan with cash you actually have. Since it reduces the stress of fluctuating income, it is ideal for freelancers or gig workers. On the flip side, the paycheck budgeting method takes discipline not to spend the whole check on wants, and you'll often split bills across pay periods. How many times have you promised yourself you'd save money this month, only to reach the end of the month with nothing left over? That's because most people approach budgeting backwards. They spend first, then hope whatever's left goes into savings. And in the end, not much does. Pay yourself first flips that script. The moment your paycheck hits your account, you automatically divert a portion of your income to a savings account before addressing your expenses with the remainder. This method ensures you consistently build your savings, bypassing the temptation to spend before you save. Let's say you earn $7,000 each month and your normal expenses are $6,500. That means $500 should go directly into a separate savings account. Then, whatever remains, your remaining $6,500 is what you actually have available for bills, groceries, and living expenses. This system is ideal for those who struggle with saving discipline. It's set and forget. An automated approach simplifies wealth building, making saving a default action rather than relying on willpower. However, it demands precise knowledge of your spending needs, as setting aside too much too soon could lead to financial shortfalls. Values-based budgeting isn't about numbers. It's about aligning your spending with your core life values. Instead of obsessing over percentages or tracking every single transaction, you start by asking yourself one powerful question: what actually matters to me in my life, whether that's family, health, or adventure? Once you know your core values, you build your entire budget around them. Here's how it works in practice. Let's say you identified family and adventure as your core values. You can now allocate your resources to support these values, meaning you'll be spending generously on family dinners, your kids' education, and annual travel. Meanwhile, you're cutting aggressively on trendy clothes, expensive coffee runs, and technological gadgets. Your budget now reflects who you actually are, not who you think you should be. This method is transformative for those struggling with financial motivation or feeling disconnected from traditional budgeting approaches. It makes budgeting feel fulfilling because you're spending on what matters. However, it requires honest introspection about what you value and can be challenging to implement under strict financial constraints. Now you might be thinking, okay, but which one of these systems is actually for me? The right budgeting method needs to fit your lifestyle, income, and personal preferences. Here's a simplified framework to help you decide. Step 1. Control level. Do you need to track every dollar, or are you okay with a broader overview? If you want to know exactly where every cent goes, choose zero-based budgeting. But if the idea of tracking everything sounds exhausting, we move to Step 2. Step 2. Income stability. Is your income consistent, or does it vary? If your income is stable and predictable month to month, the 50-30-20 rule or 60% solution work beautifully. Freelancers and gig workers, however, might prefer paycheck budgeting. Step 3. Tangibility. Does physical cash help you spend wisely, or are digital tools sufficient? Opt for the envelope system if physical boundaries work best. If you prefer simple percentages and automated flows, keep going. Step 4. Life priority. This is the last filter. Is building savings paramount, or are certain life goals more pressing? If savings are a priority, pay yourself first ensures financial growth. If you're motivated by alignment and meaning, values-based budgeting lets you spend intentionally on what actually matters to you. So, how to make a budget in practice? To keep my expenses in check and plan ahead, I use something called the Money Map. The Money Map is a powerful tool built to track and organize both your cash flow and your net worth. With it, you can see your income, expenses, investments, and debts all in one simple sheet. What makes it stand out is its 3-tier categorization system, giving you flexibility to adapt it to your own lifestyle. If you'd like to try it yourself, I've made the template available on Gumroad. Just click the link in the description to grab your copy. Alright, here we are. 7 proven budgeting methods, and a simple framework to match one to your personal situation. The best budget isn't the trendiest, it's the one you'll stick to. Test out a method for a month, see how it feels, adjust as necessary, and don't hesitate to switch if something doesn't fit. Your choice might change in 6 months as your goals evolve, and that's a sign you're paying attention. If you got value from this, consider liking and subscribing. If you think we can do better, feel free to dislike and tell me how in the comments. As always, in whatever form your feedback comes, it means the world to me. See you in the next one.